Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the LFGM podcast. Let's fucking go Mets. We're coming to you live on Tuesday, June 29th today. A little earlier for us. We're usually a Wednesday, Thursday crowd. Today's a Tuesday, so I'm heading down to Florida for the week. Very excited about that. Matt, how you doing?
I am doing just swell. Let me tell you.
No Florida for you, big boy.
No. But I'm in my own little tropical paradise here, and I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Your own little tropical paradise. That's good.
In my fucking mind, in my brain.
You know what you need? You need like the green screen in the background. That's what you need.
I should.
So the Mets have we've been a little struggle bus here, a little struggle bus. Our high mark of the season was 10 games over 500. Currently, we sit 6 games over 500 at 40-34. We're 3 games up in the division on the Washington Nationals, who are 38-38. We have a 3-game set here with the Braves, who are 37-40. It seems like right now, before the All-Star break, we've got 3, 6, 9, and 4 gives us 13 games left before the All-Star break. We got to get there, and we got to keep this at least 6 games over 500 mark.
Yeah, I gotta say, I have not checked the standings at all up until today, just to see, like, all right, where are we at? How many games ahead are we? Just to kind of see. And I guess I feel like we asked this question earlier when we started this podcast was, when do you check the standings? And I feel like I said right around All-Star break. I went about 10 days early, just had to check it.
Yeah, so the Mets are 4-6 in their last 10 games, 6-9 in their last 15. We've got a few doubleheaders thrown in there. So it's been an interesting, 2 weeks of baseball here. And it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks, moving forward here to get us to and through the All-Star break. So tonight it's Tyler McGill. We get the pronunciation right again versus Charlie Morton. The Mets really struggled against Charlie Morton the last time they saw him. The Mets, as Gary Cohen and Ron Darling have pointed out time and time again, are really struggling against the curveball this year. So Morton looking to do the same again tonight. The Mets looking to kind of exact revenge on Charlie Morton here in Game 1 of the series.
Charlie is going to throw the Uncle Charlie. And I'm not really looking forward to it. Not really. I feel like maybe you would think we would maybe make some adjustments. I don't know. But he looked like Doc Gooden last game. He looked like Roy Halladay. He looked like anyone and everyone that is just a world beater.
Cy Young.
Is Cy Young. And then Kyle Schwarber, Babe Ruth.
Yeah. I guess it's a little easier when it's off of Jared fucking Eichhoff, but 2 home runs in a game again. The guy was just absolutely raking against us. And it sucks that you go to Washington for 1 game and then you got to leave. Like that fucking sucks too.
I thought about that. It's like, how bad does that suck to just go from New York to Washington for a pit stop and then go to Atlanta? Like, fuck that. That sucks.
And it would have been fun if they won. Pete Alonso hits the 3-run home run. Billy McKinney goes back-to-back with them. You kind of claw your way back into the game a little bit there. But if they won, it would have been fine. If you lose, that sucks. If you win, it's like, meh, okay, move on.
It's like a shitty – but it's shitty either way because I feel like – I know these guys have flights all the time, but even if they did win, it's like, all right, get on the plane and then you're playing again, like 18 hours later.
It's a lot of travel. It's a lot of travel fun. For sure.
Yeah, no, that's brutal. The game and that game too, that was I watched, but it was like, at what point do I just not watch or not pay attention at all? And then we crawled back into it a little bit. And and Miguel Castro got put into a bad spot with the error that was. It was Blanken. Was it Blankenhorn? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Blankenhorn. I call him Blankenhorn or Blankenship every time. I don't know why I do ship.
Blankenship is definitely more common than Blankenhorn.
That's what I thought. I mean, I don't know a Blankenship in my life at all, but I call him that half the time.
I feel like
Blankenhorn.
a Blankenship.
There probably is. There has to be. But yeah, no, he boots it and then throws it away, puts runners on, and like Lindor was in the way. That's got to get fixed at some point. Is the alignment of their shift? That's happened a few times we've seen where, and McNeil and Lindor got into a fight in the dugout literally over this, like whose ball it is. The spacing is not right. The spacing is not right on that shift for certain batters because it doesn't happen obviously every game, right? They shift it every game, but certain batters, I don't know what it is, but they just cross paths and they get in each other's way, and then there's an error, and it's a home run right after that. And it sucks. It's not necessarily Castro's fault, but I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely not fair to Castro. He's been struggling too. I mean, he came out.
Yeah.
He came out on fire this season, and it seems like it's been a little bit downhill ever since. And but it's hard to get 4 outs in an inning.
I know. It's not his fault, but I do worry about him a little bit.
That's what I was trying to say. I guess.
He almost looks like he's trying to be too fine with his pitches, where it's like, dude, you have an amazing arm, just let it fly.
Yeah.
But maybe that's also a case of just like, you get a ground ball that should be an out, now you got a runner on and then a walk, and then it's like now you are trying to be too fine and perfect.
Right. Yeah. It's part of, I guess, getting people. When there's people on base, it's always a little bit more difficult to pitch, right? So there are interesting probables moving forward here. Miguel Morton, we just talked about. Peterson versus Max Fried is tomorrow, and then DeGrom versus Smiley to finish out the series in Atlanta. So, listen, they're under 500. They're a team that's been struggling. They're the division champs from last year. You got to go into this series, and I would think before you come back north, I don't want to say home, but before you come back home to play the Yankees, and before you come back to New York to play the Yankees, I think is probably the better way to put it. It'd be really nice to kind of get the bats going a little bit and to try to take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta here.
Yeah, I feel like this game against Morton will probably be the most difficult, right?
For sure. Yeah, especially after we struggled against them so much last time.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have for tomorrow, for Wednesday's game, they have a TBA against Taiwan, which I'm feeling good about that. And then DeGrom and Smiley, always feel good about Jake. If we steal this one, this could be a nice little 3-game sweep, baby.
Yeah, the first one's going to be. I think the first one's going to be key, right? And how does David Peterson? What David Peterson do we get? Do we get the good David Peterson, or do we get the bad David Peterson? So we'll see what happens. I want to talk about a few things here. First off, Marcus Stroman. His grandmother passed away, so he was placed on the bereavement list, which allowed the Mets to recall Sean Foley. So Sean Foley is the nod back up to AAA, to the major leagues. And Jeurys Familia and Tomas Nido both sent on rehab assignments to Syracuse. So it sounds like both of them should be back with the team relatively soon, which is good to see. And Jonathan VR placed on the 10-day IL because we had another person placed on the 10-day. Somebody else had to get knocked over to the 60. So JD Davis gets pushed onto the 60, which means he's eligible to come off July 1st. I'm almost done. And last but not least, it's Brandon Nimmo. When will we see the return of Sir Brandon Nimmo to center field?
I mean, should be soon, right? Like that's.
I thought we would have seen. Thought we would have saw him tonight with against the Braves, but not yet.
No, I mean, I would think by the weekend at this point, because it was almost like I feel like we were supposed to see him last weekend. So,
Yeah.
That'll be big, especially because he gets on base. These other guys, some of them, I'm just like, dude, take a walk.
Yep.
Please take a walk. Yep. So he always gets on, and that's good.
Listen, the best part about getting on base with some of the walks is like, if, the teams can't shift as much when there's a runner on first base. I mean, that's simple. You want to beat the shift, have somebody get on base in front of you. That's another way to beat it, and nobody talks about that. But if you got Alonso or Conforto behind you and Nimmo's on base 40% of the time, well, you're going to stay out of a lot of those shifts, which is really important, I think, with this team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good point, and that's putting pressure on the opposition as well. Rojas said that Nimmo, he's not going to be activated this series, but most likely Friday ahead of the Subway Series, which is nice.
Okay.
That's good. That's nice bat to have at the top of the lineup. I like that. Sean Reed Foley, dude. They said something last night. I wish I could get the number right. I was trying to look it up. He's been called up and down. Listen to this. 16 times in his career, I think the number was.
Jesus, that's a lot.
So it's not just like with the Mets. It's his 6th time with the Mets. But the team, I don't even know the team he was on before this, but they just kept doing the same thing. They just do this guy just gets miles. He just gets air miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
He sleeps on the tarmac.
Put it on the credit card, man. Get those points.
He sleeps on the tarmac.
That's crazy. That's a lot. I mean, you got to run out of options sooner or later, right?
I was gonna say, I feel like he's got to be up at some point where, because I think he's valuable, and I know you do too. Yeah. And he's had some rough goes at it with some of his outings, but I don't want to lose an arm like that. I think he's pretty good.
No, yeah, I agree. I think with Tyler McGill going tonight, you might see him pitch tonight. If McGill gives you 4 solid innings, maybe. If he gets through 5, you might see Sean Reed Foley go for 2 innings or 3 innings there. We'll see what happens. But he's a guy that can go to the bullpen and he could give you 2 innings at a clip.
Dude, imagine if you're human resources and you got to figure out this guy's paycheck because it's prorated. So if he's just that's got to be the most difficult thing ever. Just figuring out how many days he has in the major league, especially with service time at this point too.
It's got to be hard to for him to realize what to try to keep track of all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys said it in the broadcast last night. They were just at some point you're probably by the 2nd or 3rd time you're probably just numb to just getting called up and down the whole time. But I mean, no, I like him a lot. Shout out to him. He's good. He's been good for us, and a lot of times we've needed him in the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, whatever it may be. And even if he goes 2 innings and gives up a run, he's been productive for us. And just
what he is? He is serviceable. That is the word.
He's bridging the gap, baby. He's bridging the gap.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the next 6 games here, we got 3 with Atlanta and then 3 with the Yankees, both teams that have been struggling to, it's weird because Atlanta's under 500, but I think the Yankees have been struggling more than the Braves have. Atlanta at least has, Freddie Freeman, and they got Acuna in the lineup, and it seems like the pitching with Charlie Morton might be coming around for them. But it seems like it's not the most difficult stretch of games here before the All-Star break. It would be nice for them to clean up here. What did I say? There was 13 games left here. So, 7-6 at a minimum would be really nice. But, it's hard to project out when your 4 and 5 starters right now are Peterson and McGill.
Yeah, I know. There's going to come a point where that's not, we got to figure something out. I mean, we're still coasting a little bit now, but it's getting closer to, the trade deadline, the All-Star break. The All-Star break will be nice. real
Yeah.
nice. It's just,
And I think if I'm doing this correctly and I'm projecting this out correctly, it looks like Jacob deGrom will pitch the last game before the All-Star break, so we won't see Jake throwing in Colorado for the All-Star teams this year.
yeah, I mean, that's what we talked about last time, right? That's kind of what we wanted in a way. So just hope he stays healthy, continues to
Absolutely
good like he does. Carlos Carrasco, as of an hour ago, continues to throw, and he's traveling with the team. He's down in Atlanta, and it's flat ground, but it's got to mean something at some point. What is the timeline? That's the only thing.
I don't know, because it's, he's tried so many different times, and it's like the arm seems to be okay now. It's more of a hamstring issue. It's a weird situation there, because you trade for the guy, you want to get the most out of him, right? And you want him to be a productive piece of the team, and he's making a decent chunk of change there too. But you also want the guy to be healthy. You don't want it to mess with the contract long term. I don't. What are your expectations for him? How it's got to be difficult. I assume when he is added to the roster and he starts to pitch, it's going to be like almost like trading for a fifth starter.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. And the fact that he's a veteran, that he knows what he's doing, you hope that there isn't much of a, once he's ready to start throwing, that he doesn't have to have much of like a feel out period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he could just kind of get into it and give you 5 right off the bat. They say his potential return date is late July. Now, this is just SNY, just kind of speculating where, he's trending in the right direction and that he feels great. But that's all that they're giving us. But we are going to get guys back, like Familia. He's going to be back. Supposed to be back. Yeah, they're so they're all coming off, which is nice, and they're all going to be like coming off by the end of the week, which is great.
It's and I think Alonso said it too. It's like, it's great that the bench spot has carried us this far, but at the same time, and I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, but like, when they're 100% healthy, like these guys got to hit. The lineup needs to produce, and they're not there yet. And that's why you might see some 3, 4, 5 run games, and not the 7, 8, 9 run games. But they're gonna, we've talked about it before. June is usually a tough month for us. It hasn't necessarily been, that 5 and 20 month that we've seen before. I think they're hovering right around 500 for the month of June. Just keep scratching away, keep clawing away, take it one game at a time, one inning at a time, one at bat at a time, and just try to scratch out some runs here, man. Especially against Morton tonight. I'm going to be, a little PO'd if he comes out and we're just fucking whiffing at curveballs again tonight.
Well, listen, and me too, and I'm glad you brought up the offense. And we've made, not excuses for them, but we've kind of been patient with like, okay, this is – but we got to be real a little bit too. Like we got a lot of our lineup back, and it needs to start translating into some runs. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Lindor has some awful at bats, man, and I hate to like keep harping on it and bring it up, but because everyone has bad at bats, and I get it. But like you cannot have that at bat that you had against Hector. I think it was Hector Neris.
Yeah,
Philadelphia. Yeah, in the 9th inning.
Brutal.
He was all over the place, the batter before you. He clearly could only throw his fastball for a strike. Wasn't throwing off speed. Wasn't even close. He goes up swinging at something in the dirt, swinging at something at his back foot. And it's like, dude, you probably should take a pitch. You know what I mean? Like, you probably should take a pitch if you can't recognize between the fastball and the slider, I think it was. It's like, dude, he's not throwing any strikes right now. He didn't throw him one strike and got him out. It was a horrible at bat. Like things like that. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's not the at bat that you expect out of someone like that.
With him, I think we've gotten to a point where he's making much better contact, right? He's making harder contact. He's hitting line drives. He's driving the ball up the middle. I don't know if anybody else will agree with this, but I think he's so much of he has such a better approach from the right side than the left side. I mean, I hate to just tell someone to not, don't be a switch hitter, but man, he is much better from the right side than the left side. It's visible to me, but it's sometimes it's like, I feel like, dude, are you watching the game? Like, come on, man. I know you're this leader and you're this great guy and you want to hold everyone accountable, but like, hey, you need to hold yourself accountable too, dude. That was a shit fucking at bat. I mean, we just got to be better than that. We got to be smarter than that.
That just like, and I'm sure he knows, but like the focus in that at bat specifically, I was like, that's alarming, man. Like, what are you thinking? Like, it's clear as day. Like, I'm watching on TV what this guy's doing, and
then someone
had them on the ropes too, and then it just went away. Someone
asked him after the game, like, how he feels about the double headers. He's like, oh yeah, I really like, the 7-inning games are great. It's really hard to play 18 innings in one day. Like, dude, you just signed a $340 million contract. People don't want to hear you complaining about 18-inning days rather than 14-inning days.
I know. I mean, I kind of.
I get it, but like, come on, man.
I understand what he's saying, and I knew once he said it, I didn't have an issue with it, but I knew once he said it that people were gonna blow up at it. So it is what it is. I mean, that's just what the New York media does. I mean, with these other guys too, we have a lineup here where if you posted this lineup that we have tonight in October, I'd be comfortable with it. So, like, what do we – you know what I mean? What am I saying? Like, we have McNeil, Lindor, Conforto, Alonso, Smith, Pilar, McCann, Guillorme. I'm fine with that in October.
Yeah.
So why aren't we hitting them? You know what I mean? It's getting to the point where the patience is run out.
I'm with you, man. I'm 100% with you. And it's not really with the pitching staff. Like they've just carried us all season. Stroman coming off of a weird start before grandmother passes away. He didn't have his best stuff. He would get to 2 strikes. He didn't have a strikeout pitch against the Phillies. Like, all right, man. Like, I get it. He went out there. He did his best coming off of a 2-inning start with the hip issue. The pitching staff has carried us to this point, and we're just sitting here waiting for the offense to kind of take off, and it's almost like, we're kind of stuck in the water here. But hopefully, things start to pick up. I saw I think it was Gelbs who tweeted it out. It was comparison of the Mets offense with under Chili Davis and then under Hugh Quattlebaum, and it's there's not much of a difference. The batting average is lower under Hugh Quattlebaum. The runs per game is still in the 3s. I think it went up from 3.2 to 3.7. And the on-base percentage, or it was OPS, was almost identical. So, I mean, we're not talking much of a change there. So we're kind of running out. You can't blame the hitting coach now, can you?
No, we knew that going in though. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't care who the hitting coach is. Like, this has to turn around. You don't need analytics to tell you that we got to hit better with 2 strikes. We got to hit better with runners on. We love leaving guys on, right? You don't need analytics for that.
Yeah.
So,
all right, I got a fun one for you before we head out. There was a video posted earlier. I think it was on MLB.com, so you can find it on MLB's Twitter. It's Jacob deGrom in the outfield in Atlanta, and he runs up. So someone had catcher's equipment on. I couldn't tell who it was, but he starts wrestling him, right? And then someone comes over and does the 1, 2, 3, ding, 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 tap out, right? So we got a little wrestle off there. Jacob, don't get hurt, number 1. But here you go. Who are your top 4 Mets that you would not want to wrestle against, like WWE style?
Like current Mets?
current Mets, anyone on the roster, or someone maybe who's been up and down that we've seen, someone that we've played with, current Mets.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, our whole bullpen is monsters.
There's some big boys out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, right away, I'm going to say I don't want any part of Trevor May. He's like 6'5", 240.
I'm glad you said that because he's on my list.
Yep. It's just Trevor May. No thanks. Let's see. I'll also Pete Alonso. I'm good. Like, he's another big guy that I just probably wouldn't. He's pretty nice, but like if it's wrestling, I think he would just pin me down and sit on me and laugh.
Yep.
And then for the next two, I gotta go with like Castro's big. Castro's
big too. We're 3 for 3 on the list here, so let's see what you go with your fourth.
Yeah. So I do Castro, and then I mean he's not on our team now, but Betances is another one that is just a monster. He's just, but I mean, yeah, I guess it would be between Betances and Taijuan Walker.
Walker. I was going to say Walker could be another one too. All right, I like your list. So I had Alonso, Castro, May too. My last two, I'm going to change it up from where you went with Betances and Walker. I would go with here's my comp to like Rey Mysterio here. I would say Kevin Pillar. That dude could be like a little Hardy Boy, jumping off of fucking walls, doing flips and shit. I would want any of that. I could totally see that. And then the last one, a little sneaky pick here. Patrick Mazeika, I could see being a big, like, he comes out there with the beard, playing some crazy song or some shit. The fireworks are going off. Maybe he's doing like the he like does the Triple H. He spits the water everywhere. I would want no part of Patrick Mazeika, even though he seems like the nicest guy in the world.
He's got the rec specs too.
Yeah, man, those are scary.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're talking like scrappy, you got to put McNeil up there. He's fiery.
Yeah, he'll bite your leg or something.
Yeah, he'll do some dirty shit to you. But it's like, all right, dude, we're done.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, take a pitch maybe tonight. All right.
He got a few hits. At least he got a few hits. I'll take it.
Thank God. I just
dude, he has the quickest at bats ever.
I feel so bad for him sometimes when he's running to first base because I know I'm angry, but I know he's angrier. So I'm like, okay, now I guess I'm sad for you.
Yeah, you don't need to get mad at Jeff. He'll get mad at himself. Don't worry.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
It's going to be an interesting few days here before the All-Star break. So best of luck to the boys down in Atlanta. We'll see you back here after the series with the Yanks. They got 3 more with Milwaukee and then 4 with Pittsburgh, and then we head to Colorado for the All-Star break. So that's another episode of the LFG podcast. You can put in the books.